we're going to go to Trader Joe's now. So, let's move this out of the way. So at Trader Joe's, I think those are all over the country now. They have this fabulous thing here. So a lot of people give up peanut butter. Peanut butter, well, peanuts aren't a nut. Peanuts are a legume. If you have legume issues, beans basically, if you have issues with that, don't do this. But this has flax and chia seeds added in. So this has added some protein in. I believe it has added a little bit of omega-3 fatty acids in, which is what we're looking for. So 2 tablespoons is a serving, and it's got 7 grams of carbs, 3 of them are fiber, so 4 grams of carbs for 2 tablespoons. I personally, if I need something, I will mix this up and I'll eat just a couple spoonfuls. There are some people I know that will just live on this stuff if they need to. So this is great for an emergency bag. This is great for on the road. I'm just gonna have to make sure that I am like near a sink when I do this, because you can see you have to mix it up. Once it's mixed, it usually stays pretty good, but that initial mixing is kind of messy. You could pour it off, but if you look here, it's just made of peanuts, so that's actually peanut oil in there. So it's good stuff. I'm going to try and keep it, but if I have to, I would pour it off and just have super thick peanut butter. Almond butter also comes, it doesn't have the flax and chia, but almond butter usually, I believe, is also about 7 grams of carbs. It's similar. So if you don't like peanut butter or can't eat the peanuts, you can try almond butter. I think cashew butter has more carbs in it. And I think it's more expensive too. So here we see a pile of beef sticks. These are the only beef sticks I found at Trader Joe's that are not loaded with sugar and carbs. Okay. This one stick is a serving, and it says 0 carbs. If we look here, I believe it has a little bit. I'm trying to read. No, there are no sweeteners in here. So this one, awesome, best choice ever, and it still has fat in it. It has a little bit of fat in it. So this is great for your protein fix. When you just need red meat, this is great. So I go for the grass-fed beef. Grass-fed is, again, going to have more omega-3s. They have a turkey one. I haven't tried it because turkey's usually low fat, and I have an iron deficiency, so I always am seeking red meat. So I got these for actually on the road. I've been picking them up as I could find them, as I could afford them. I always keep some on hand for my husband to go to trade shows and for me to like carry in my bag in case I need something. Do not leave these in the car all the time. If you leave them in your car and your car heats up, it will sweat the fats out through the plastic, and then they get really interesting shades of mold growing on them, and it's terrible. So don't leave them in the car, but I'm going to be in a truck where it's kind of climate controlled because we're going to live there, so it shouldn't be too bad. Let me see. I'm looking on my table. I think that's it for Trader Joe's. So here, we're looking at moon cheese. Moon cheese is pretty cool. I found this at Starbucks. I found this first at a Starbucks in a Safeway in the little spinny racks, and then I've seen it at a couple Starbucks since. So the nice thing is this is like astronaut cheese, okay? It's dehydrated cheese. My husband says it is the most disgusting thing in the world. I think it's pretty darn good. I like the pepper jack flavor. They have like Gouda and cheddar. I like the pepper jack because it has a little zing to it. You are getting a little bit of fat. You are getting some protein. It's just cheese. This is great if you're craving crunch. When I switched to keto after a couple, I think to about 3 weeks, I was going crazy because I wanted something to crunch. Couldn't have chips, so I found moon cheese first, and then I found pork rinds later. And we can talk about pork rinds once we're actually in truck stops shopping. But I brought this. I only really used this initially when I was transitioning to keto, but it was at home. I'm not going to be home for like a year. My husband isn't going to eat it, so I brought it. It'll be a great snack on the road. Okay, really quick, I'm going to mention Whole Foods. Whole Foods has 2 kinds of beef sticks I have found. There's a third one. So you might recognize the Vermont. This is pretty low in carbs. This new Primal, they just came out with these, and they had some interesting flavors at Whole Foods, and these were cheaper than the Trader Joe's. The Trader Joe's are like $1.69 each. These were, I think, like $1.50 or $1.30 each, but they are a little smaller. But they came in flavors, and so they've like added a tiny bit of honey and lemon peel. So these have a different flavor. The box at the store actually has how many carbs are in them. I think I could probably read down here if we're careful. It's hard to see through the phone. I don't know, when I open one, we'll take a look at the label. But you do have some beef stick options. Also, Epic brand has some jerky that is good, but a lot of it is bad for too many carbs and having lots of sugar, so you have to read your labels. So even across one brand, you might have some that just are not acceptable. And we keep passing this. I'll mention that at Walmart last night we grabbed a can opener so that I can get cans of anything on the road, like olives, tuna, whatever, and I can get them open. Okay, so that was Whole Foods, and now we're going to look here at things to drink briefly. So these are, I call them bubble waters. They are going to taste bad to you when you're first starting keto. If you can get some liquid stevia to put into it, it really brings the flavor out. And then as you become acclimated to being on keto, you won't be craving the sugar as much, and your taste buds will change. You'll be able to actually taste the flavors. I drank these without adding anything to them. My husband started adding a lot of stevia, and then he's backed off, and now he just adds a few drops of stevia to make the flavor pop. And if I feel like I need more flavor occasionally, I will add some. So these, they're at, let's see, I didn't look at Walmart last night. These are at Winco. They are at Fred Meyer. They are pretty much any place now. In the soda section, you will find these. They come in a lot of flavors. This is my favorite. I brought a box of 8 and then 3 of these flavors from Albertsons because I love this flavor. My husband doesn't like the cucumber. And I don't really drink these a ton. So I'm going to try and make sure, this one I'll have to try and make sure I finish before we get on the bus. Otherwise, they'll be abandoned in place. And then here, this is Albertsons brand, and they have some pretty interesting flavors too. But again, this is just bubble water with flavors. It varies wildly from brand to brand. I've seen the brand Bubbly. That's just the name of it. It's like a solid color box, and it says Bubbly on it. Those taste kind of chemical-like to me. They don't, I don't know, the way they do the flavors, it's just different. I don't really like them as much.